it's an individual choice. How do you feel like that with universal life and open source and open mind and open walk, each individual? Some of us in America have a lot easier. We can pretty much go to whatever. A lot of people live in Muslim countries. They don't really have that much of a choice. Maybe over in Jerusalem, the big three. So there's still Christians, Muslims, and Jews. But I don't know how we would share people if they're just open-minded and they've followed whatever they grew up with. Is still you have to be open-minded, but will we be accepted on the other side? Are those watchers, are those angels, are those levels in between that we're open to receive? And everybody has the right to go direct, do they not? Right to their open soul, their open mind, and open to the all. How do you feel, William, Bill, Tracer? How do you deal with that for everybody in this particular?
I have a tendency to feel like that Dr. Wayne Dyer was really on to something when he talks about God as being source. The source of all that is, all that ever was, all that ever will be. That's basically what God is. God is source. And so I think that in that understanding, we begin to get a little closer. I don't think that God is that white-haired, bearded fellow sitting on a throne throwing lightning bolts when he's not happy. That's Zeus, or that's Jupiter. That's not
folklore. That's our legends and myths. There's truth to some of that, maybe, from in the beginning, but it depends on each person's mind and their filters, how they think, what they know, what they've experienced. Each person can't explain God to another human being. It's virtually impossible. God didn't make it where he could be explained, did he? Because look at all of us. Even our alphabet, numbers, and the sacred divine was numbers before they were the alphabet. But we all try in our limited egos because we are here on the planet. But how do you deal with all that? Explain all that for you, because we have people listening, and somebody from New York. Let me see. Hi.
Hi.
New York.
Anna.
I thought it was. Of course, yeah. Bill, this is Anna. She used to come on board. I just wanted to let her say hi real quick. I recognized your phone number, Anna. I'm going to start doing readings soon. I know that'll help a lot of people. So happy holidays.
My goodness, and that would be great. When are you going to do that again?
Probably next week after my birthday on the Christmas 26th. I've got a week till the new year, so I thought it'd be a good idea to get started again. But you remember Bill? Do you?
How have you been? Are you doing okay? There's so much has changed in your life and everything.
A lot of things have changed too. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
I'm very soon going to have to be adapting to the lifestyle of not having a car. And that's not going to be easy. Yeah. And that wreck a couple of weeks ago, and car was totaled. Nobody was hurt, and that's the blessing. But the car is no longer usable, and right now I can't afford to get another one. So I'm going to be without a car for a little while. But, I mean, that's okay because, like I said, I'll just have to adapt.
Yeah.
I'll adapt.
Well, we'll talk later with I hear a lot of noise, so I had to put Anna on hold there because there's a lot of noise picking up. And Anna, we're on YouTube now, so it'll be actually where people can hear us on YouTube. So we're doing a lot of soul searching right now. But, folks, I'll try to get to you next week, to help you with whatever comes up for 2019. So we should have fun next week doing some readings, okay? So call in after let's see, now, Bill, Christmas is Tuesday, right, in 2018?
Yes, it is.
And Wednesday I'll be 67, and let's see, I'm committed to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I may do some Sunday. I'm not sure yet. So I may do some on starting Sundays or something, but we'll talk about it next week. We'll just see how everybody feels and enjoy having all the old members back, especially Anna. She's been really good. We've all done a lot of change. So, Bill, this show keeps people that just feel comfortable being friends, right? We learned a lot about each other. So discussing being open with the world changes and how we walk our own spiritual path because, we're all individuals. And how do you we work with conscience and then we work with building things together. And a lot of people are asking me about their part in my life as entrepreneurs and what they're trying to do and what can we build together. Have you got any ideas what we could do? Because, open source is also open in cyberspace. So we're using Facebook to keep up with each other. But have you got any ideas other than helping people write books? And go ahead. Yeah. Help us out here. Well, what are we going to do?
Like I was saying about I'm going to have to personally adapt to not having a car. I think that that's a key word right there, adaptation. Increasingly, the traditional religious past challenge our postmodern sensitivities, leaving us dissatisfied. We find ourselves asking, isn't there something more? Our belief systems, as defined by organized religions, must adapt. Part of that adaptation pivots on the relationship between religion and science, as we will discuss extensively in the book. That there's no good reason for there to be an adversarial relationship between those two. Science need not present any kind of threat to religion. The job of science is not to explain away religion, but rather to shine the light of knowledge that can help us see more clearly how our beliefs work best in our lives. That's I think is quite key. Too many people have viewed science as this ultimate contradiction of religion, and it really isn't. It doesn't have to be. One of the greatest scientists in history, Sir Isaac Newton, he didn't see any conflict between science and spirituality. He was a highly spiritual individual, and used science in his mind. He wasn't contradicting the existence of God. He was explaining the ways that God did stuff, basically. The way the universe itself is designed by a designer, not just something that came about through random chance, as the more atheistic approach suggests. And that's an interesting aspect of that whole question of, is it scientific to still believe in God? And I say, sure. There's no reason not to. In fact, it doesn't really have anything to do with it. The real thing is, see, science, like I said, with Isaac Newton, he was finding the way to explain how God did it. Even Darwin, with his theory of evolution, Darwin was not an atheist. Darwin was a deist. And as such, it was the same thing. He saw, in fact, it says that in his book, now I've forgotten the name of his book, about evolution. The
Charles Darwin?
Yes,
So he wasn't atheist?
No, he wasn't. He was a deist. And he believed that basically what he was writing was an explanation of the way God went about creation through evolution. So evolution is not a contradiction of creation. It's the way it was done. That's all. Ah,
okay. Well, let's see. We'll mention Charles Darwin, naturalist. So just let me tell people, because in a way he changed our reality, our timeline. But he was born February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day in 1809. He died April 19th, 1882. And he had several children, and he went to Cambridge University. And my dog wants to go look at two mice. We got two Christmas mice. But Charles Darwin books, list of books. Goodness, 18 books in this series on the origin of species by means of natural selection. The Autobiography of Charles Darwin, The Voyage of the Beagle. My goodness, I'll have to let her back out. Let's see, Penguin Random House. Well, just on the origin of the species, is that the one you're talking about, the expression of the emotions in man and animals?
Yes, on the origin of species was his, I guess you would call it his masterpiece, his culmination. He actually did multiple editions of that book, in my book I actually have a quote from, I think, the 6th edition of that one, in which he talks about how he sees no reason why that his theory should offend the sensitivities of the religious. And I agree with him. There is no reason why for there to be any offense here. It's not trying to explain it away. It's trying to explain how God did it. That's basically what it is. And so, as a deist, he's not quite the same as somebody who believes in God from a theist point of view. The deist is a much more naturalist approach to the idea, basically saying we look at the universe and we see that the universe exhibits signs of design. And if the universe exhibits signs of design, then there must be a designer. And so it's simply a conclusion drawn based on observation of the universe, not something that comes from, like inspired, divinity-inspired kind of stuff. It's just, you look around the universe, you see these things, and you say, yeah, do we see here signs of a designer? So there must be a designer. Now, that's not necessarily...
Were you raised in the church, but didn't you tell me at one time that you didn't believe, or something happened that made you not believe?
You're right. I was raised in the Methodist church, but there came a point where I looked around me and I just I couldn't believe it. There's a lot of stuff, in traditional Christianity that is difficult sometimes,
I think we all go through a period of doubt, and you have to come back or not. Some never come back. Some do.
And I did. I went away for a while, and then I came back. But interestingly, I came back through science. I was gazing at a poster that was made by National Geographic. It was a poster of the universe, showing the basic structure of the universe, starting on the scale of our solar system, the Earth, and then our solar system, and then it keeps going up and up until we see the entire universe. And when I looked at that structure of the entire universe, where multiple galaxies in clusters with strands of galaxies interconnecting these clusters, and with vast areas of empty space, but still, all of this interconnectedness. And that's when I realized the structure of the universe itself bears a striking resemblance to the structure of a neural network, not unlike our own brain. That same kind of structure, where the clusters of galaxies would represent like a brain cell, and the strands interconnecting them are like the synapses that interconnect the various brain cells. And so the thought occurred to me, could it be that the entire universe is itself a conscious being? And the visible universe as we see it is essentially the brain of that conscious being. And therefore, each of us are, really quite tiny. And within this structure, a part of it, each of us kind of like brain cells in the collective consciousness of all, and not just us, but if indeed there are other beings throughout the universe, then all sentient beings would be a part of this interconnected cosmic consciousness. And eventually, right now it seems like for us, for humanity, that interconnection is on an unconscious level. But is that the way it's supposed to be? Should it be that we're really supposed to be conscious of this connection, all of us interconnected consciously throughout the cosmos? I think that may be what we're supposed to be, but something happened. Something happened a long time ago, and we find hints of it in the historical record Some people call it the end of Atlantis. Some people call it the Great Flood, the deluge.